So, you know, the consistency with the visual language again is important. What am I? Oh, look. See, and they paint a target on where you're likely to need a portal. Okay, let me just solve this. I can't actually remember precisely how to do these. I'm actually figuring these out as I go, although I've done them before, so I guess that helps. But it's not like I have the solutions memorized. Unlike the first game, where I really do have it memorized. And this, I don't remember if I need to press jump. No, I don't need to press jump. Right. Okay, portal here, portal there. Wait, no, portal there. Actually, let's just come up here and see what's here. Nothing? 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 Okay, nothing. So we need a portal there, and then we need to go back that way. And you notice the arrangement of this, like it's not too complicated. The last puzzle introduced the orange gel, which makes you run fast. This one introduces the idea of running fast and jumping through portals, so it's a combination of the two colored gels as well as using it to go through a portal and to get to your destination. And of course the solution is pretty awesome. Again, flying through the air.
Astronaut, war hero, and/or Olympian. With your help, we're gonna. This on? Hey, listen up down there. That thing's called an elevator, not a bathroom.
I swear I know him.
I'm sure you do. So again, the solution is flying through the air, which is pretty awesome, and that little dialogue thing there reminding you of the contrast between the 70s version of Aperture and the 50s version of Aperture, which is 50s they were doing quite well, 70s they were bankrupt. And of course GLaDOS saying again that she knows that voice. A lot of stuff is being communicated to the player, just not in the puzzles, it seems like. There's the 70s logo for Aperture. And the thing is, I remember finishing this game thinking that this game seemed so much easier than Portal 1. And now that I'm playing it...
If you're interested in an additional $60, flag down a test associate and let them know. You could walk out of here with 120 weighing down your bindle if you let us take you apart, put some science stuff in you, then put you back together, good as new.
Cool, $60 more. But you know, now that I'm looking at these puzzles in detail, I'm fairly sure that all of these, after GLaDOS became a potato, all of these are actually more complicated than any of the puzzles in Portal 1. So now we are both jumping and running again, that's good. And so it must just be good puzzle design. It must be... Yeah, I'm just trying to remember what I'm supposed to do here. It must be that the puzzles are so well designed that, you know, you can figure them out without too much trouble. And I guess maybe difficult and easy are not the correct terms here. Maybe what we should be talking about is frustrating and not frustrating, fun and not fun. Right? Because if something is fun, it may be difficult, but you still enjoy it. And maybe you don't even realize how difficult it is because you're having so much fun, right? Whereas if something is not fun, then maybe even something quite easy will seem like a big chore. See how the arrows actually point that way? So that's a clue as to what you're supposed to do. So, you know, again, it's not like they're not giving you clues, but they're only giving you clues sometimes. And again, you know, with Valve and testing and all that, if your game development process involves a lot of testing, then you can just, you know, make the puzzle, give it to people without any clues at all, and then depending on how they manage. Okay, we can't put the orange paint up there. Depending on how they do, you can figure out where to put the clues and where you don't need the clues. Like, you know, if people get stuck in one place for a long time and it's consistently, you know, they're consistently failing to solve a puzzle, then you know that you need a clue there, right? Whereas if you are, you know, whereas if you give the puzzle to people and they work through it without any trouble, without any clues, then why oh, you can actually fall off. Then why bother putting clues in if you don't need to? So if you take a, you know, if you take that approach to game design, then you don't need to you know, you don't need to speculate as to where you need the clues and where you don't. You just test them and you'll know the answer when people figure them out or not. I don't even remember why that's important. Oh look, there's more stuff behind here. That's cool. So here, like, in order to see that, you actually have to come all the way around. See how it's behind that wall there, so you couldn't see those platforms up there from before. Okay. And then once you're here, they put you in a position where you can actually put the portals there. Ow. Except that, well, I want the cube. Oh, this is the final part. This is the part where I can, if I get the cube and put that there and that turns up, I can put the blue gel there and bounce across and all that sort of stuff. Now, how do I get the cube? I think I've jumped a few steps here. Let me just quickly go back. Well, obviously I get the cube by going over there. But how to get up there? I'm pretty sure I need blue gel up there. But I can't. Oh, look, I can, I see. Let's just do that for a bit. And do that. Like, at this point, I'm solving this kind of like I'm doing it the first time, but I do remember a little bit about it. Just not the actual solution. See, again, once you actually solve the problem, you fly through the air like an eagle in a blimp, and that's a lot of fun. I remember this bit, at least. Let's see if I can. Yes, I can. Oh no, I can't. Okay, can I shuffle over a bit and put a portal? Nope. Oh, don't fall off. Okay, I can't do that. I actually need to walk over there. So I'm solving this as though I'm solving it the first time. And you can see how the arrangement of it is that at first nothing is obvious. Actually, you can see it, and you can put portals there if you're observant. So at first you can't, you don't know what's going on, but as you portal around, then you learn about the different pieces of the puzzle. There's 4, like this. Actually, no, there's 5. There's the gel, there's this ramp, there's the box, there's that, and then there's that ramp there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, so there's 5 pieces to it. So it's very complex. I think this is the most complex puzzle so far. And you really have to get all the pieces before you can solve the problem. But you can do it one at a time, and there's no penalty for failing. There we go, so you put the blue stuff there. There's no penalty for failing. And when you do succeed, it's quite amusing. Wait, no, I need blue gel up there, don't I? Let me do that. And can we see the blue gel? There we go, it's splattering up there. And are we able to... Yes, we are. So let's... I think that's the solution.
In case you're interested,
there we
there's
go.
still some positions available for that bonus opportunity I mentioned earlier. Again, all you gotta do is let us disassemble you. We're not banging rocks together here. We know how to put a man back together. So, that's a complete reassembly. New vitals, spit shine on the old ones, plus we're scooping out tumors. Frankly, you ought to be paying us.
Yeah, so again they talk to you before and after the puzzle. A 5-part puzzle, this is quite something. And of course, at the end of it you can look back and see the whole thing and see just how complex it was, whereas at the start you couldn't. You came from back there, yeah, so you came from back there and there's that thing in the way and these walls in the way, so when you've come in you can't see the whole thing. And maybe that's a good thing too, because imagine if you see the whole thing from the start and you don't even know where to start. Whereas if you come in and you remember how I walked through this and portaled around, so they specifically put that in front of you. As you walk in you'll see that first, and then you can get over to here, and then you see that, and you see that. So you actually see the 5 pieces in sequence. So just by the way they lay it out, and the way they kind of put walls in strategic places, they make it so that you see the next part. Once you get to one part, you see the next part. And then, you just put the gel in the different places, get the cube, solve the puzzle, and then you come back and you can see the whole thing. So the arrangement of the pieces, and the walls, and the views, and all that, it's designed so that the puzzle becomes even like they don't even do it actively. And then this is the mark of good architecture, right? Just by the layout of the spaces, your experience of it is such that you will see each piece in sequence. And then at the end you can look back and see the whole thing and admire the complexity of it all. So yeah, good architecture, I think.